Yeah, you got it. It's the York Sports Report show. You see them numbers? Tonight's a sellout. That's me on stage with my fans. Patrick Kane and the Hawks are starting to rip it up. Read it, believe it, Curbs. Because they're coming. And they're coming strong. Hawks 2-1 in the series. Beat the Canucks 5-2 last night. I'm Jason York, your host. Jonathan Taze is locked in, folks.
Hey,
I'm crazy and I'm your host. Enjoy.
Blackhawks winning last night against the Vancouver Canucks. Bufflin had multiple hits, 6 hits. Versteeg was all over the map on the boards. And again, I go back to Bullen. You know, this is a guy last year that if you watch in the playoffs, when he starts shooting his mouth off, and we all know Bullen's coming off the back surgery and all that stuff, he starts shooting his mouth off and he starts getting the boards and he starts causing some real grimy type of play. The Hawks are better. Same thing with Versteeg. Patrick Sharp's a great player on the board as well. I got to be honest, I've been watching the Hawks since I was 12, okay? But this era here right now with the Chicago Blackhawks, this is the first game in the last actually 2 games I've seen Patrick Sharp just play brilliant on the boards. Just absolutely brilliant. Marian Hossa scores a big goal last night, coming off the boards. Powder cake defenseman, Vancouver Canucks, in terms of Salo and Edler and Bieksa. And O'Brien took a dumb penalty last night with Sharp. My point is that the Hawks score big-time goals, and then bang, they start chirping, they start getting under the Canucks' skin, and the Canucks can't handle it. So when you get Bolin and Sharp and Versteeg battling on the boards, and then they start giving you the gears, I would have loved to be a player on the ice and find out what Dave Bolin said to Daniel Sedin. I mean, it must have been about his mother or sister or something, just raunchy as hell. Because we've never seen Daniel Sedin lose his cool. Do you blame Luongo right now? I mean, he gave up 2 or 3 juicy rebounds last night. But then you go, is the defense doing anything? And then Bufflin's 3rd goal, you know, everyone's screaming bloomer, oh, interference. You can see Roberto Luongo gives up on the play. The puck just trickles across. Put your pad out. Put your boot out. And right away he starts looking for the ref while he's in the net. That doesn't matter. I mean, Bufflin and Kane and Taves, they all go in there, and it wasn't like it was a gigantic sort of push. But you got 2 Canuck players, two Canuck defensive players that are kind of pulling them in at the same time. What do you expect? What do you think the Hawks are going to do? The Hawks know how to beat the Vancouver Canucks. And how you do it is you get to their captain. Their captain isn't on the ice, or might I say, he's on the ice, but he's the goalie. A lot of fans don't like this, that Roberto Luongo is the goalie. He has his little C underneath his mask, at the bottom of his mask. Jonathan Taze last night is on the bench. He's talking to Dustin Bufflin, and he's giving it to Dustin Bufflin. I mean, he's letting Big Buff know, hey, we got these guys, man. Don't flip, don't break, don't crack. Keep doing what you're doing, Big Buff. But keep it together. You don't have that on the Canucks bench. You might have Kessler. By the way, Kessler's a no. I mean, Kessler is playing absolutely invisible. And that's what I mean. You go back to Sharp and Versteeg and John Madden, too. Madden's playing a very quiet, decent role in this series right now. A couple of big plays last night by Madden, blocked shots, Versteeg's blocking shots. That's how you win the Stanley Cup. When you start getting under team skins, when you start scoring big-time goals, and you start blocking shots and your goalie comes out big, that's huge. That's victory, baby. Hawks are playing great. Hawks are skating, Hawks are banging, Hawks are getting underneath the Vancouver Canucks skin. Ryan Kessler had no shots last night. I don't remember the last time I've seen a game where Ryan Kessler had 0 shots. Vancouver Canucks, and I know we all don't like stats, I don't. But at the end of the day, the Vancouver Canucks, since January, haven't won, or since January 30th, pardon me, and I keep on going back to this same stat, Vancouver Canucks did not win 3 in a row in regulation time. And when they beat LA, when they won the 3 games in a row to beat LA in 6 games, that's the first time since January 30th Vancouver Canucks won 3 in a row. So that says a lot, folks. That says a great deal. Vancouver's players, at the end of the day, have to be, Vancouver's top players have to be their top players. And I've said it before, where if the Sedins take more than 2 nights off in any series, I don't care who you're playing, you're going to lose. And the Sedins more or less got shut down last night. Again, when you get Bolin and Versteeg chirping away, Patrick Sharp, I never really kind of noticed this before, but Sharpie can yap a lot, like a lot. He was saying a lot of stuff to Kevin Bieksa, and Sharp's no stupid guy. He knows that he would get tuned on by Kevin Bieksa. But they are pushing Vancouver's buttons. Alex Burrows, as far as I'm concerned, should be suspended for at least 1 game. He must have whacked Dave Bolin on the back of the head at least 15, 20 times. Like good punches to the back of the head. But, anyways, I will say this, though, about the Vancouver media this morning. They are not entirely blaming all this sort of net crashing on Big Buff. Alain Vigneault, the head coach of the Vancouver Canucks, actually said today, which I was surprised, and then I thought about it, it's like, he's right, is that he goes, the guy that's really skating around that crease and going in and out of that crease is Patrick Kane, and he's bang on right. Bang on right. Kane's all over the net. And then you've got O'Brien, you've got Kessler, you've got Alain Vigneault, all saying the same thing today in a respectful tone, like, hey, he's a big guy, where else is he supposed to be? If he's on our team, we want him doing the same thing. And now the Vancouver Canucks are saying, okay, now we see what's being called, so we'll kind of play that same style. I don't think the Canucks have the horses to do that. I know they're going to try that. I know they're going to try and go and bother Antti Niemi. But I think the Hawks won't stand for it. And maybe they might. Maybe the Canucks come back with that game plan and sort of run Antti Niemi, but who knows? The other thing, too, is that the Canucks, or the Chicago Blackhawks, in terms of Jonathan Toews, have 3 points last night. Toews is having a very, very quiet, great playoff series against Nashville, against the Vancouver Canucks. He had 3 points last night. But now you've got Hossa scoring, Steger scoring, Sharp scoring, Big Buff with the hat trick, and Kane and Toews, great puck control last night. There was a few sequences where they control the puck, they control the play. And then they set up Big Buff and they throw it on net and then bang. I mean, Versteeg and Sharp, I don't know how many shots they had on net, but they were firing the puck on Luongo. And Luongo was had trouble with every shot, more or less. He was juggling the pucks. He wasn't 100% certain. The Hawks right now are in charge of this series. Okay, yeah, they're 2-1 in the series, but I think if the Hawks get Jonathan Toews scoring some goals, Kane scoring some goals, look out. Like, and I mean in the bunches, because the Hawks are like the old Chicago Bulls in a way. When they get a couple of goals, bang, they can rattle off 1 or 2 more. And then it's 3-4 nothing. And then
you got it, folks. More York Sports Report show coming up. And Jenny McCarthy, you are just flat out sexy.
So, props to the Chicago Blackhawks. Game 4 tomorrow night at GM Place. By the way, the GM Place security staff stinks. Their security stinks. What a bunch of buffoons. As I was saying, a couple Hawk players were getting off the bus, more than willing to sign some autographs. Again, I was down there just to try and see if I could maybe get a couple of shots with the Hawks, and it didn't work out. I was just kind of standing there, and there were some other kids and all that. Let the kids go first. I'm just sort of here to possibly see if I can get a snippet of one of the Hawks to come on the York Sports Report show. That would be great. We're going to still aim for that.
Maybe I should go play in Chicago. Maybe I can win there. You probably could, Roberto, because the roar is bad.